Happy Monday, story time. Here's my little wolfie. I think it used to be my kids, but it's so cute. And my very old pillow, I don't even know, I've had this pillow, like this pillow's been through hell with me. It's like the only pillow I own that I kept through all this uprooting of my life. Anyhow, so let's see, story time. Things that happen at Strucker Hill. Well, I should call it, maybe I'll start calling it Twilight Zone Hill. Anyhow, so 977 Twilight Hill. I had I had two neighbors at the beginning that were like ex. They were ex, like they were the highest selling drug. They were the highest selling drug people in New Hampshire at one point. Okay, those were my neighbors. So I was like, oh hell. I was like, what the hell? See, I research everything. I'm like a little investigator, so I research everything. Because at that point, after some things happen, I like my hyper vigilance. What do you say? How do you say it? Hyper village. You know what I mean. Anyhow, I was like hyper vigilant. There you go. And so I was just like, with these people, you know? So I researched who they were, and I found that out, and I was like, oh my god, okay, so that makes sense, because that's what I thought. You know who else they put in here? Not in here, but at 977 Twilight Zone Hill. They also put the reporter, he used to be like an independent reporter, Dave, what was his last name? It's in the morning, my brain's function is not on par. Anyways, he used to be like an independent reporter in New Hampshire that, like, they would arrest him for no reason and do all this stuff to him just because he was, like, trying to uncover a bunch of stuff. And he used to go to the State House all the time and interview all the reps and stuff. Dave, whatever. Anyway, so he also lived here. And the only reason why I know that is because I was, like, looking at the reviews of, it used to be called B6, okay? I looked up the reviews, and he's on there, and he's like, oh, it was a really nice place when Jeff owned it. I wonder if it's still like that. And I felt like saying, no, it's not like that anymore, Dave. But, so anyhow, so my neighbor, Charlie, I'm not going to say too much bad stuff about Charlie, because he was okay, I guess. But you know what I felt like he was? I felt like he was like, like he was going to be a honeypot. Like, trying to hook up with me and get information. That's what it felt like. So he asked me to go in the hot tub one night. This is a good story. He asked me to go to the hot tub one night, and I'm like, oh God, you know, men want to, every time I go in the hot tub that's, you know, with men, it's like, oh no. So I kind of like was like, well, I'm not a hookup girl. I don't roll that way. So it was like, if that's your plan, I don't know, it's not going to work. So we go to the hot tub. He's kind of driving funny. I don't know. We go to the hot tub. That was interesting. But it was nice. It was at the Mountain Club, which, oh my God, that place. When they made me homeless, I got a membership there because I wanted to take a shower and keep my job. And I didn't have any place to take a shower. And I went there, and I was like, oh my God, it was like heaven. I had practically the whole place to myself. I met this little old lady that was so sweet. I was like, oh, maybe she'll be my friend. But yeah, so then there was this other girl, number 9 again. I'm telling you, what's up with that number? What's up with that room? So she was okay. But when I first met her, you know how when somebody acts like they don't like you right from the bat, they don't even know you, but they just have this like thing like, oh, I already don't like you, and I don't even know you. That was the vibe she was giving me. So anyway, she ended up being okay. But she made a fire pit in front of the apartment, so everybody started partying, like, over in front of my apartment, which was fine. I was like, oh, I'm getting to meet the neighbors, great. I'm like, oh, you know, maybe this will be a nice community, you know, because I'm all about community, but for some reason I get kicked out of places. And so so one night we were partying, and I was like, oh, this is all right, this is okay. And Ed got so drunk they had to carry him into his room. But anyhow, there's a guy, Bob, that was, I guess he was like the temporary manager. This is what Stanley used to do. So Stanley doesn't have a manager. He's the manager because he lives there of the apartments, and the landlord. And so when he goes away, he doesn't have anybody to manage the apartments or make sure, so Bob was doing it. So Bob's joking one night. He's like, oh yeah, I got the key to everybody's apartment. He's like, hey, let's go into Luann's apartment and see what she's got. Like, I could just do that if I wanted to. Like, because he knew it wasn't right, but he was making a joke about it. And so then, yeah, so Bob was the temporary manager, but he would just pick anybody that was the temporary manager, okay? Which I thought was really strange. So Bob said, screw you, I guess, at one point. And he's like, I'm not doing it anymore for you. So then another couple moves into number 9. And Stanley's like all buddy. And come to find out, this kid that was in number 9, another person number 9, I guess he ends up being like the person that does everything for Stanley. He's the one that helped change the locks on the door, but it was just sketchy. But he's all buddy with this couple in number 9, right? And the couple in number 9, I swear to God, I know all their tactics, so I was like, is this really happening? Am I just imagining things? Because that's how it is, it's a plausible deniability. But I swear, like, every time I was out, now it's like, oh, it's time to take the trash out. Like, they all did it. Like, I'm outside, and, like, they don't take the trash out any other time. But as soon as I come out, everybody's taking the trash out. I was like, okay, it's weird. Anyways, so stuff like that, and, I don't know, Stanley picked them to be the next, so he just picked anybody. I don't know if you even know these people, but, like, I didn't feel comfortable about that. He's, like, just picks anybody to be the temporary manager. It's when he leaves, so, yeah, I don't know, he gives them the key to the rooms. I don't know. And I said that to the chief. I was like, oh, he just picks anybody to be the temporary manager. Like, he just, he could have picked Damien for all I know. Who knows, But, yeah, so that's another thing that happened. The temporary property manager issue. What else? Oh, I mentioned to this girl, there was this girl, Red, that lived there. I guess these people have records, that's the place where they put everybody, like, they have records, I guess. And this girl, I guess she had a record. And, but she's like, I was talking about how they use ex-cons, like, they use in the little program, they use, like, ex-cons for, like, citizen informants, okay? I was just talking about it. You should have seen her face. Like, literally, she got really pissed. I was like, what? I was like, well, it's true. And she's like, is that true? I was like, yeah, it's true. And so I was just like, I was just being very, I was just profiling everybody, find out about these people that I lived with. I was like, who are these people?